What's happening, mate? You alright?
Aye, fucking as good as can be.
For the month off, and we've missed hundreds of hearts pumpings, and it's only me and you that are bothered to show up, eh? And
Just,
folk would say this would be a full house day.
just shows how sick of podcasting we are after what 113 episodes.
Again, I was gonna say, me and the happy clapper of the group. This will be some laugh when we've got what Motherwell away defeat to talk about, St Johnstone at home win, Celtic away defeat, Celtic at home defeat. I'm looking forward to hear your positives for this.
Fuck. Good luck with it. I don't even know where to start. I can't even remember the first two games, and I purposely didn't watch Wednesday night. So it's going to be great, to be fair.
Get some, as always, from This Is My Story podcast. You will get some absolute forensic insight knowledge into these games that Motherwell I never went to, didn't watch, and I never watched Wednesday, and I did watch Saturday, but no one wants to hear my genuine thoughts on how Saturday went, because you already know where I'll end up with that conversation.
So that's the podcast done. Cheers for
That's us done.
listening.
Thanks. Sorry, it's been a month, but we'll see you next month. What's been happening anyway, Tam? You alright?
Not much. I watched Motherwell. I was in London for the St Johnstone game. I went to see an ABBA hologram. Bet you didn't think I could get more a shite bag, but there you go.
There you go. Nothing changes me, mate. I wish I could get the CCTV for inside Tynecastle on Friday night when you started being Casper the Ghost, because if anything could sum up for folk that don't know you and know the shit that I have to deal with, you putting the tifo over your head and pretending to be Casper is right up there.
I like how you say pretending like it was deliberate, but yeah.
Your saving grace if you pretend it was deliberate, at least it takes away from the fact that you had fucking not a clue what you were up to.
That whole night I could just see you getting more and more raging at me as the night went on for my more stupid mistakes. I was just not even thinking. So
I said to Shanks about 100 times, I was like, mate, what is actually going on? Is everybody just trying to annoy me? Like when we were doing the other flag and I was taping it, and like I would get to one end and be like, anybody got the knife? Oh, I'll get you. And then cut it, and then I'd go back the other way and get to the other side of it and be like, anybody got a knife? I'll go get you. And I was like, could somebody just fucking follow me along the 15-foot long flag with a fucking knife so I didn't have to keep going back and forth, man?
I mean, you try to be all safe in that as well.
It's like, what the hell, man? It was a good laugh, though. Oh, well, welcome back to This My Story, your unofficial Hearts podcast. We'll not really dive into anything other than we'll talk about the game on Saturday. We'll have a look at the runny fixtures. Now it's a business end. That's it done now until the top 6 in terms of the Old Firm. We've got a bit of a difficult run in, 5-point gap. We need to be at least 8 points, maybe a bit more, before we head into the post-split fixtures, because we're absolutely rubbish in the split. Plus, we'll obviously have to play Celtic and Rangers game. We'll look at our record, especially this season, big games at home, where we would probably be considered the underdogs in our record, and just how do we build on it. We'll talk about the Celtic game yesterday, talk about the fans, ultras and stuff. First game, we're having a section yesterday and how it went. We do have to talk about the away end as well, some of the stuff that happened, away fans in the home end, and how Hearts have to do something about that. It's unacceptable. Ticketing as well for yesterday. I know we'll talk about the crowd, but just the way we sold tickets was a bit daft. But also you see the away end, the away fans, sorry, in the home end, and you can't. It's hard to then blame the club, because there are fans that give their reference numbers to away fans, whether we like to admit that or no. That's what happens. Talk about some injuries, and then we'll just look forward to Aberdeen away. Sound good?
Aye, it's a lot of depressing stuff to go through, so perfect.
That's why I've got a smile on my face.
Chris on Friday night did say, I'm surprised you haven't podded recently, because it's been pretty bad, so why he's not podding? These are the best episodes, so wait and see.
It's true. That is very true. But to be fair, I've been fighting Robbie Nielsen's corner all weekend. I changed. I'm a changed man. I'm a changed man. I've been defending him.
I did like that somebody thought you were genuinely being serious when you said something about
Jack Ross and Curtis
David
Main.
Van Zanten and Curtis Main.
David Van Zanten has me played football for 15 years. It's like we should have signed Curtis Main in the January transfer window along with David Van Zanten and brought Jack Ross in. I do like that people get like. Someone also just tweeted there because of the guy Mikey, the Celtic fan with a gap in his teeth. Someone said, well, you could fit anything into his teeth when you scale the image." I was like, obviously, mate, because yeah, I genuinely thought he was kicking about with the Celtic end in between his teeth. You fucking idiot! Like, we have got this speckiest supporter, but honestly, man, they're so pedantic it does my head in. But
You're lucky you've not got Facebook, mate. That's all I can say.
mate,
The Hearts Facebook groups are a sight to behold.
mate, and that. Okay, and I've seen wee specs Aaron, sorry, with his tweet yesterday about the try to praise the ultras, but had an unnecessary swipe at fans or whatever, and folk were quote tweeting it being like, "You chavvy Ned virgins or whatever ultras," and I was like, "I'm fucking 37, fucking 37," saying that we didn't pledge, and that I was like, I think the ultras have got like a fucking £100 a month pledge set up to the FOH along with everybody individually pledges. So I'm glad I didn't have Facebook or my own Twitter. As you well know, I cannot be trusted on Twitter by myself. We'll not do any quizzes either because that'll be unfair, wouldn't it?
What would we do? I'll just
Me,
ask you questions and see how it
me
goes.
you in a quiz or whatever. That's hardly going to be fair.
The level of questions would be a lot different alone, never mind the answers.
That's true. That's true. Right, well, we'll go through some of the headlines first then. Have we had any news, as you heard Robbie said anything about updates on Shanklin, Snodgrass and Humphreys?
I think they were, what was it? I seen Jamie Borthwick tweet about it, but Snodgrass he had a chance to play yesterday, so did Humphreys, so they expect him back for Aberdeen. I'm not sure about Shanklin, to be honest, but the club never really tell you anything about them, do they? You never really see what it is, or it's 5 weeks and it end up being however many long.
We're now, we've got a game on the 18th of March, and then
the first.
So basically, we've got one more game in the month of March, and then the next round of fixtures are going to be April.
Yeah.
Peter Haring has been out since October.
Yeah. Did you see his wee video this week?
Aye, with concussion. So that's going to be 5 months?
5 months, aye.
5 months, pretty much half a season out. Benny, how's Benny still out? Robbie Nielsen said Benny was back and would be back round about December, could potentially make January.
Lucky if he makes split.
It's going to be
April.
This season. It's going to be April before. And when did they do it? We did it like the tail end of last season, wasn't it? It was before
March,
the split last year.
Something like that, yeah.
So a full calendar year out. Voice looking to be the same as well. Like, obviously, we know that he was going to miss this season. We knew that anyway. But I was actually thinking about compiling a list of, I think pretty much every single player in the team has had an injury that's kept them out for 2 or 3 games at a time.
Struggle to think anyone else, to be honest.
Gordon, Smith's been out, Kingsley's been out, Halkett's out, Rills was out.
Suppose Civic maybe.
Maybe Civic, yep. You're looking at Halliday's been out, Haring's out, Benny's out.
Devlin's been out.
Devlin's out. Fucking Cochrane's been out. Atkinson was out. Shanklin's now out. Humphreys is out. Gino was out for a bit. Barry Mackay's shite.
I was going to say he's not been out, but he probably should be out.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's honestly, I've never known a season like it. Like, genuinely. So, hopefully we get them back in for Aberdeen, which is cool. Anything else in terms of headlines for the week? Anything caught your eye?
Nah, nothing that I can think of, to be honest.
Good and cool. We're going to talk about them.
Aye, go for it. As long as it doesn't involve bedwetting about why is he not getting enough minutes when he's a international World Cup star who played about 4 starts in his whole career as a football player.
I think we get to start questioning was a good signing. Probably does have bags of potential, etc., etc. But as a club, should we be the place that teams send their players to adapt to life in the UK? Like, what benefit does that have for us? Like, what is Guran Cool adding to Hearts that Connor Smith wouldn't,
Yeah.
or another young player? There was a thing, I think I seen Ewan
Rock or
Murray.
something.
I seen Ewan Murray tweeting tonight, actually Sunday night, about a page showing you the amount of young players or academy prospects or youth players that have played in the SPFL this year, in the Premiership. And I think Hearts are actually one of the more reasonable sides, which is a bit
Really?
strange. But
Well,
then you look at it's probably been more out of necessity than anything else. I think Lewis Nielsen, Connor Smith, and Ewan Henderson have all played
yeah.
for games this season. None from Celtic, none from Hibs, none for Ross County as well, which is weird to think something like that.
Yeah.
Surely we've got young players. If we're just going to bring folk on for the sake of giving them minutes, surely we've got our own young players to bring on now.
You'd think so, but I suppose I don't know what the deal is with the B team situation. Do they have to play each week with the B team? Are they allowed to play if they play a game? I, I don't know how it works. Are the B team really doing that well? I don't believe they are. It's one of those things. I think obviously we've Savage has put in the certain things for the academy over the last 2 years, and you might not see the fruition for that for the next 5 years. Who knows?
As I say, that's not a dig at Cool, for example. He's a young boy. He's come up here. He's having to learn whatever. But I'm not having us being slaughtered because he's not getting a game. Every time he's played, he's looked absolutely miles out his depth.
Yeah,
Miles. Even yet, you can't. For me, it's hard to judge on the games like yesterday against Celtic. Celtic are a ridiculously good side, but he just doesn't look interested. Doesn't look interested. He doesn't look willing to do the dirty side of the game.
yeah. He had that one thing against St Johnstone that probably half the stadium missed because they were away by them in the 98th minute or whatever. But we hit the bar. But other than that, we're doing the right thing and bringing him on for the last 10 minutes when you've not got much to play for. Well, actually, that's not true. He's came on in games like Livy where he had to try and at least finish that. I could have finished that chance, to be honest. But aye.
Like I said, it's not a dig at him, but I don't. For what we've seen of him, but if we're taking punts on youngsters, I would rather that we invest, like Mackenzie Kirk, for example.
Yeah,
Give him a
absolutely.
chance. Why not? Why not see what he can do? Because he'll be here for the future. Cool, if he was any good, won't be. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll be here for the rest of the season and maybe a bit next season, but then he'll be gone, if that. So, aye, that's a bit
Put it
shit.
this way, if you're wanting a lone player to come in, you want an Ellis Sims that comes in and like adds to your team. At the moment, I'm not seeing that.
Fair. I would agree. I would agree. Right, anything else worth talking about for headlines of the week? Anything Scottish football wise?
Can't even think of him. It's actually fucking shite that we didn't go through, to be honest, in terms of who's in the semi final.
Aye. So what is it? Who's left? Cally, Thistle, and
Rangers
Ayr Falkirk.
and Ayr of Falkirk.
Aye, but it is what
Never
it is.
expected it, I suppose, but
It is what it is. To be fair, again, like 4 out of the last. We've been what two? Aye, 4 out of the last 5.
I think
We've,
that's right.
o- we've only been beat off Celtic or Rangers in the Scottish Cup.
Yeah, aye.
Beaten twice in the final by Celtic, once by Rangers. So 4 out of the last 3. Sorry, talking shit. 4 out of the last 3.
Aye, we had that League Cup semi as well, mind.
So like, it is a bit shite. We've been unlucky in terms of coming up against the Old Firm, but again, you want to win trophies, you've got to beat the Old Firm, which we'll talk about in a wee
Yeah.
minute, which is fine. Before we start talking about the game itself, what was your thoughts yesterday? The first game of the having the ultras in an actual designated section inside Tynecastle. What was your thoughts, your impartial thoughts? Because obviously I was in amongst it.
I thought it was class, to be fair. I'm obviously pretty close to it in the main stand, so I seen a lot online about not being able to hear them in certain parts of the stadium, which I'm going to call bullshit on, but 'cause it was quite loud. But the fact that before the game the players went out and fucking clapped them, I thought that was class. Pity they couldn't they just fucking keep a clean sheet for more than
Right,
three
more than that.
minutes.
Again, that was my one wish when I was in bed. It was like the night before. Just give us 20 minutes. Don't score. Don't concede. Just let us fucking show that we need it, and that's where the ultras need to be, and they can make a difference.
Yep.
I think it didn't help that they scored in 2 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're 1-0 down and you're trying in a game that we didn't sell out because Hearts fans will only show up because it's Celtic and Rangers and they know we're going to get beat. Same Hearts fans that you could argue will queue up and argue that they didn't get semi-final tickets and final tickets. Should we have got there, etc., etc. Now, it would be stupid not to bring in, yes, cost of living. I know the cost of living crisis. It's a joke. Cost of supporting Hearts right now is a joke. The ticket prices weren't great,
Nope.
but Hearts can't dictate the ticket price. That has to be agreed by both clubs. Celtic want that. That's what it is. It's 30 quid. But yeah, you're 1-0 down after 3 minutes. They're singing their shite that they always sing. It was always an uphill battle for me.
Yeah. What I did like is it didn't stop, regardless of the score. The goals came at the worst time in the first half, like straight away and right at the end. But second half, Ultra still started for the start again.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And that's why, like, if folk moaning about the atmosphere or that concerned about it and that, you need to join in. Like, do you know what I mean? That's the whole point. We've got an opportunity now where you've got fucking G will sing, fucking N will sing, and now if you have folk that are behind the goal will sing, there's no excuse for that no to travel around the stadium and get involved and stuff. So I thought it was probably the only Gino, his performance,
Yep.
Sander Clark potentially, and the ultras yesterday was about the only high point for me of the whole thing. Which brings us on to the fucking negative thing that I'm getting sick of. Now we've got a great relationship with the club. I've spoke with the club numerous times, and they're always open for feedback, and they're always happy to share things, and they know that things can be better, and they're always open for it. I've said for 2 seasons now that we cannot have away fans in the hospitality sections for big games like this because they don't behave. It's embarrassing. They don't make it. They don't pretend that they're Norway fans. They don't sit. They wear colours. I seen fucking folk coming out the Gorgie Suite yesterday with Celtic scarves, Celtic pin badges on. That's not acceptable.
No.
Absolutely not acceptable. And we're moaning that the fans are staying away. Celtic have showed up and they're in 3 of the 4 stands that are there. That's not acceptable. That's got to change. You said that you had Celtic fans running about you yesterday in the main stand, no?
Yeah, I sit in section S, and I think it's the Strongbow Lounge or whatever, and you could tell, like, obviously folk are going mad, and then you see them when Celtic score. There wasn't a reaction as such, but you could tell it was like older boys. But it's one of those things. You're just like, how is this allowed when anywhere else in the stadium you need 10 loyalty points to buy a ticket? There were certain Hearts fans that don't have those points and couldn't get a ticket, for example. But
Aye.
for the hospitality, if you've got 100 quid or however much it is, feel free, batter in.
Aye. And it's like we'd seen that. I think the club had said, "Oh, the hospitality sold out in minutes," and I'm like, "All right, cool." Just as the Celtic end sold it. Do you know what I mean? And all suddenly, all hospitality sells it. It's
Yeah,
not difficult to figure out what's happening. Do you know what I mean? It's not difficult to figure out what's happening. And again, we look at the scenes in the away end. So I've I know what we've done and who we've worked with to get in for our own ultras. I know how many police and stewards were in our section. I know exactly how the police and stewards were treating us in our section. I'd like to know how many arrests were in the away end
yeah,
because the people with the pyro were standing in the front row. They were standing on the barrier at the front row in front of the stewards that we pay to steward at Tynecastle and the police that we pay to come to Tynecastle and do something about it. So don't pretend you didn't know who it was or that you can't do nothing about it because It was right in front of you. How the fuck? We were there Friday night. How do you get a 130-foot banner into an away stadium? How do you get that in? How'd you get that in? The flag that we made, our section Hings was 127 feet long. They had the same length of banner. Like,
Yeah.
how'd you get that in? How'd you get that past yours?
Alongside what 40 pyro or whatever it was.
Exactly, mate. So, again, the club, it's over to them. They've got to do something about it. After Hamilton away, where there was 3 smoke bombs chucked onto the pitch, Andrew McKinley released a statement to say, basically, the fans are great. Thanks for your backing, but stop throwing pyro. All right.
Yep.
Well, let's hear about the 40 pyros in the away end. Let's hear about go home, you Huns. All the wee Huns are shite. Let's hear about the IRA. Let's hear about all that stuff. Let's hear about it. Let's hear about the tricolours in fucking Section N. Let's hear about it. Grow a backbone and do something about it, because Hearts fans are the priority inside Tynecastle. No Celtic fans, and definitely no Celtic fans in suits. Get them the fuck out of the club. Do something about it. There, that's my rant out the way, because it's been fucking pissing me off.
It's not a rant. It's the first of many rants.
It's warming up. My pre-season of rants. It's my pre-season of rants. But aye, the ticketing thing again. We'll touch on it because we've been vocal about it. We can't boast 4,500 fans on the season ticket waiting list. Sold out season tickets. Brilliant. Great. That is absolutely superb. Sold out the away end at Pittodrie. Sold out the away end at Motherwell. Sold out the away end at Livingston, Easter Road. All these things. Great. Brilliant. We needed a sellout on Saturday. The only chance we have of competing against Celtic and Rangers is if the fans are fully on it and the players are fully on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the players will turn around and say, "Oh, we can't get up for it if the fans aren't up for it," and the fans will turn around and say, "We can't get up for it if the players aren't up for it." Well, nobody can get up for it if the stadium's not sold out, especially when in the cup, the club. Let's be clear, right? The club cannot do anything about having to give them 4,000 tickets, right? They can't. It's the rules of the cup. There's nothing that their hands are tied with that. But what was the official attendance yesterday? Did anybody read it?
I do know.
So what we go for?
Bear with me.
So what is there 18,000 or 17,000 sellable tickets? So Hearts had 13,000 tickets to sell.
Yeah, that would have been it.
So we have 13,000 tickets to sell. 15,500 season ticket holders, 4,500 season ticket waiting lists. Like, that game should have sold out regardless. It should have been a sellout.
Yep.
But again, I agree with some of the complaints about, season ticket holders that had already bought a ticket couldn't buy another ticket.
Yep.
Like, that's daft. We should have sorted that out. Season ticket holders or folk with buying histories have they had more than 10 points, etc., or a buying history, etc. Like, I understand that point. Like, I get it, but we should have had a better way to give more people the opportunity to buy tickets. Do you know what I mean? And did it something a bit better than that.
Agreed. Sorry, I'm trying to still work out this. Doesn't matter really. But
Does it not? Does it not say like?
I
don't know if anybody even reports attendance anymore.
I think Sky do, but I can't really see it, so leave it with me. It's hard when you kind of go to somebody else and I have to try and do it.
Aye, it's one of the things. It's a bugbear, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what the club do about it either, like empty seats, because we've said it before. Even the games that are sold out.
There we go. 16,287.
Right. So 16 to so 4,000 away fans straight away. What's that? 12,000 Hearts fans. So
yeah.
3,500 season ticket holders never bought tickets, and 4,500 people that were on the waiting list didn't buy tickets. Like, come on. Like, you could be canny be attendance FC talking and fucking screaming for the rooftops about how amazing it is, and then fail to sell out our biggest game of the season. It was a disappointing day all round.
Agreed.
I'm trying my best to think of other things to talk about. We don't have to talk about.
To be fair, it didn't look too bad. On, like, if you're saying about players looking at the fans and stuff, but I didn't see a lot of gaps for where I was sitting in the across for the Wheatfield. It didn't look too bad. Gorgie wasn't too bad, but again, 4,000 fans would make a difference, wouldn't it?
look, we're clutching at straws, right? Because Celtic are fucking brilliant, right? And a great team. So,
Yeah.
but you look and say, right, for us to win these games, everything has to go in our favour. Loads of
And
stuff,
Robbie had
like,
said that as well before the game.
and
To be fair.
and we need, and for that we need a crowd. Like we need a big crowd. We need it to be as intimidating as we can. We can't keep hiding behind stupid things like, oh, it's a 12 o'clock kickoff. Oh, it's on TV. Oh, it's against Celtic or Rangers. It doesn't matter. The ambition of the football club is to win trophies, is to compete, close the gap on Celtic and Rangers. Then you need to be there. You need to be there. Celtic and Rangers fans would show up for their big games of the season, the day all the time. We've
Yeah.
got to do the same thing. We've got to break that. Got to break that culture. Right. What do you want to talk about now before we talk about Celtic?
St Johnston. No.
I'm not talking about St Johnson. Other than the fact that Gino. Well, let's talk about Gino. Let's talk about Gino because Gino's been the bright spark for a while now.
Since the World Cup, anyway.
100%. I think his goal on Wednesday night was what, his sixth goal or something in the last,
8th, I think.
in the last, what, in the last 5 or 6 games, wasn't it?
Aye. 8th of the season. Sorry, aye.
Always scores against St Johnstone. Although he's not, surely he didn't get credit to do the first goal.
He did.
Did he?
Aye.
That is a liberty. That is an absolute liberty. But he's been a bit of a bright spark, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he's been class, and especially since he's having to take that new role. But what, a year ago, if that, we were saying on this podcast we weren't too bothered if he goes. When he released that for the Noons interview, saying he has to think about his future, if he's going to be playing at Hearts. But he's up to his game. Seems to be more consistent. On his day, he must be up there with like one of the fastest in the league as well. So using that pace to his ability, I think it works in the centre of the field as well. And when Shanklin's there, it does. They've got a good wee partnership going at the minute. Which, to be honest, was evident to see when there was him and a fucking 30-yard gap between any player yesterday. But yeah.
And that actually is a good, if you call it a mirror or whatever you want to say to hold up for this, is the fact that Hearts have been riddled with injuries all season long right now, and I'm not going to try and make excuses for some of the stuff that we've seen because some of the stuff hasn't been good enough, right? But Gino was inconsistent, right, at the start of the season. But then you look at how many starts did they have when he did come on? When was he coming on? What position was he coming on? He's consistently played the same position probably since the World Cup, and he's playing week after week after week, and suddenly he's found form. He looks more confident. He's more aggressive. He's in the right area. He seems fitter. There are no coincidences, right? That's what happens when football players play consistently. It's why I moan all the time about tinkering. Robbie's the worst for it, or one of the worst for it, even when we didn't have injuries.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You look at the midfield yesterday, like suddenly out of nowhere, I get Snodgrass is out or whatever, but Devlin's on the bench. Suddenly Keogh comes in. Do you know what I mean? You've got a guy short on confidence that the fans, let's be honest, are waiting for him to do something wrong, right? I'm the same. I'm sitting back going, right, come on, do something, impress me, because you've done fuck all so far. That's hundreds of pressure on a player, and you chuck him in against Celtic, and
Twice as well.
and you're going to suffocate them because they're especially that midfield three, Hatate, McGregor, and Moy are the best in the league by an absolute country mile.
Best I've seen in a long time as well.
They're a joke,
to be honest.
And the way that Celtic play, the style of play, he's never going to get time in the ball. He's never going to do nothing. So you think, right, well, Devlin's the option in it. If you need energy, you play Devlin. You chuck Keogh under the bus. Grant,
even having Halliday in there, who's consistently looked this season a good player in the left side, wherever he plays on the left, and then chuck him in centre mid.
Aye. And chuck him in. When was the last time he played? He's been out for hang me with concussion, hasn't he?
Yeah, aye. Well, he played on Wednesday, didn't he? But did he play St John's? I might be wrong there.
I think he came on against St Johnstone if he did anything. But anyway, do you know what I mean? It's consistent. It's no coincidence that Gino has found form when he's consistently played in the team.
Yeah.
So I thought Gino was a bright spark yesterday. I thought he never stopped running. Other than I don't rate Starfelt that much, but Carter Vickers is unbelievable. He's a great player,
Yeah.
and I thought Gino gave him a good game yesterday. I thought, considering what Gino had to work with, I thought he played very well yesterday, Gino. And you could see he was fucked, but he never stopped running.
I thought even when the boy came on for Starfelt, he had him.
Aye.
Was it O or something?
I don't know who it is, but
aye. But
you're right. He did. He looked. The boy looked terrified. Gino.
yeah. But I'll go back to kind of what I said. But even the second half, where it looked a bit brighter, when we kind of get him back into the game, and he's chasing everything down, but there's just nobody near him. And then you talk about Devlin with his energy, and he's always running. Surely a player like that would get in behind and at least be an option to pass the ball away.
Aye, you're right. We've got to get him a contract, though. If we've got any ambition as to what we want to do, you've got to sign him up.
Forgetting that. He's out in the summer, isn't he?
Aye.
Yeah, you would think he'd be priority number one at the minute. I know that we've spoke about Snodgrass, we've spoken about whoever else, but somebody that's consistently scoring, consistently getting in the right areas, you have to.
I'll be honest with you, my worst fears about Snodgrass are coming true. If I've been saying it on a podcast before, but he's turning into Stephen Naismith. He's turning into Stephen
Can't play
Naismith
without
in there.
him.
Can't play without him. And when we can play him, we can't play with him because everything, he's a magnet. Every single thing has to go through him. And it becomes so easy and so predictable how to stop Hearts playing. Stick a man on Snodgrass and let Riles and Sibic have the ball at the back, and game's over. Like
Seen it
Hearts
yesterday.
really struggle. Yeah.
You spoke about it pre-podcast, but like the pass out for the back, they were looking for that anchor that he is in the midfield, and he just wasn't there. And he just lost. They didn't know where to go.
Aye, we'll talk about that in a minute because again, that's something that's fucking annoyed me today.
You're talking about tinkering as well. I just wanted to ask you as well, because you're always asking me questions tonight. But no playing Cochrane and Kingsley, who's been I don't know since he came back.
There was two when I seen. We knew. I say we knew, like I'm fucking some sort of big insider or whatever. But
Proper Hearts man.
I knew Friday night that Snodgrass and Shankland weren't making it. But so I knew that they weren't going to be there. I did not expect to see no Devlin, no Cochrane. That was they were the only two that kind of made me go, all right, that's a bit weird. Stephen Kingsley, it would be great if Stephen Kingsley could remember what Stephen Kingsley used to be like. That would be good. Because he's miles off it.
He's not putting on a show, put it that way.
Very much so. Very, very much so. But again, he's had injuries. He's been derailed. He needs to play consistently. He's not playing in his best position either, and he's not playing with a consistent backline, etc. They're all the excuses that he can get out of the way. But he's been well below his standards, and I'm sure he would probably tell you that himself. Defensively, is it the third goal? I think Kingsley and Sibic are inexcusably bad. Whether it's the build-up to, did they score for a free kick in the?
Atkinson gave away the free kick at the corner of the box. I didn't even really watch the goal because I could just see what was happening, and I just walked straight out. So, and I've not watched it back, but it's the goal we've lost.
Mate, that's what bugs me. Honestly,
50 times plus this season.
On repeat, we've conceded that goal on repeat, and it's really. I went ballistic in the first half because Kyogo won a header at the back post. Fair enough if he wins a header at the front post, that's different because he might have got in front of the defender. But the ball was a high ball deep to the back post, and the weest guy on the pitch won a header in between Kingsley and Sibic. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. But tinkering again. Well, we've talked. One of the things we were going to talk about was our record in the big games, right? When we've been these underdogs at home, right? I grew up on stories of underdog heroes managing to salvage something out of nowhere and plucky wins and picking up wins that were unexpected and all that sort of stuff. And this Hearts team just doesn't seem capable of it. We start way too slow.
Too slow, too deep, not pressing. Like, I get why we played that midfield 4-3 diamond, whatever it was. But you're changing your game to adapt for them. And that's the thing that annoys me the most when we have the Old Firm at Tynecastle. I think we've got a system that has got us to third in the league. Maybe it's not been pretty at times, but use the system we've got and don't change it. At least every player knows their role, knows what they're doing, and you can work from there. And it just didn't work. I suppose it was a bit better on Wednesday night, but even at that, you're not going to remember the performance and still get beat 3-1 or whatever it was.
Oh, see, my thing was that it didn't change the shape. We played the same shape that hasn't worked all season or for large parts of the season when we haven't been able to consistently pick the same team, and that bugged me. But if we're being fair, right, let's say Zurich at home, Fiorentina, Istanbul, Riga, Celtic, Rangers, and what I was going to say Hibs, but we were the favourites against Hibs. We were the favourites versus Aberdeen. So you class them as big games. So it's not a dig at, say, Robbie Nielsen doesn't win big games, because he does. He does. He's beat Hibs at Hampden. He's beat Hibs at Easter Road. Like, he's beat Celtic at home. He's beat Rangers at Ibrox. Like, Robbie Nielsen, he can win big games, right? So let's not be daft and lazy, because again, I try my best. Everything is so one side or the other when it comes to Hearts. Everything's so cut or dry. You're either Robbie in or Robbie out. That we can live in the middle ground where good managers have to be criticised. Look at Jurgen Klopp. He's been criticised at Man United. Look at Ten Hag. He's been criticised. Guardiola criticised. Arteta criticised. He'd criticised so that these guys can get better, because if they think they're doing it right, that's a worry, right? So Robbie needs to be criticised. And I think in these big games, these one-off games, we all say the same thing, and I know it's easy for us to say and another to put into action, but we did it v Zurich, and that's what bugs me about the other ones. We did it away at St Johnstone. I know that's not a big game, but we can do it, and I don't know why we choose not to do it in every single game. Ange Postecoglou demands that his players play that way from minute 1 to minute 90.
Yep.
And you run until you die, and he put someone else on who runs until they die. That's it. There is no doing that. And he'll move people on, Giacomakis or whoever it is, he's away because he didn't fit into the way that it was meant today. Juranovic, he's gone. Like, you got to be ruthless. That's how big teams work. We were not, and at no point have played that aggressively in any of our big one-off matches. You look at
first half at Zurich, maybe.
First half at Zurich is why I'm annoyed about it, because we can do it, and we've showed that we can do it, right? Now, the Zurich game turned on the fact that Grant got sent off for a silly dive, right? Of course it did. But we proved what we can do when we go no holds bar fully at someone, right, in big games.
Yeah.
You look at, so Istanbul was the first one at Tynecastle. What would that finish? 3-1 or 4-1? 4-0?
We didn't score, did we? No.
Right, so 4. Was it 4-0?
Something like that.
I think so. It was like 3-0 or 4-0, right? Then Fiorentina, that was, what was that, 4-1 or something? Did we score? We scored in one of the games, didn't we? Because we got, or did we get somebody sent off? Lewis Niels.
We scored away in both games, Istanbul and
Fiorentina.
4-0 Istanbul at home. And then Fiorentina was 3-0 with a sending off. Aye.
Right. So there you go. We conceded 7, scored none in those 2 games. Then when it was the first home game versus Rangers, they beat us 4-0. I think so.
Was it not 3-0 twice?
No.
We're really good at this.
Colak scored twice. Morelos and Kent. Was it not 4-0 the first game?
It was 4-0 with another sending off.
And then 3-0.
Yeah. 3-0.
3-0. Right. So there we go. 14 goals. None none scored.
Yeah.
3-4 versus Celtic. So there he goes, 21 goals and 3 scored. And then 3-0. There you go. So 24 goals against, 3 goals scored in those big games at home. That's at
Not good
Tynecastle.
enough.
It's not
Yeah.
good enough, mate. It is nowhere near good enough.
You talk about being a fortress at home and all that, but
And we are a fortress home, mate. We are against everybody
yeah,
else. We're a fortress home. I think the last time we got beat in the league at Tynecastle outside Celtic or Rangers was Dundee. In one of the COVID games at Tynecastle. I'm pretty sure they beat us in the league. Craig Gordon, they scored an own goal or something, whatever it was anyway. But I'm pretty sure that was the last time we got beat in the league.
in the
Uh,
league, aye, yeah,
outside the Celtic or Rangers. Come on, like beat us in the League Cup,
yeah,
obviously, start of this year. So it is a fortress for those games. And we've done some things like yesterday annoyed me. We stuck to the game plan, which really bugged me. We'd like for like subs, stuck to the game plan. But we stick to the game plan versus Livingston or St Johnstone or Dundee United at home because we all have the majority of possession. We know that we'll create chances. We know that we have to take the game to them because we're the home side. That's not the same versus Celtic and Rangers. The other thing with every one of those games, every single one, so the 24 goals to 3, I think it's 6 games. Every game we have conceded in the first 15 minutes of those matches.
yeah,
That's a shambles, mate. A shambles. And I can tell you because obviously, you know, my Rangers connection. I know that their game plan pre-game is take the crowd out of it, score early, get like press them straight away, like get on them, didn't give the chance an opportunity to get up, didn't give them a chance to build any momentum. And it kills us every single time. We seem shocked that teams come out and do that.
yeah. It's like we try to be tight for the first 10, 15 minutes, but the pressure's so much on that they just fucking capitulate. As you said before we came on, they could have been 1-0 up in 45 seconds. And then the second wave of attack, they go and score. And it's just like, how can you just switch off that quickly when you've been working on this all week?
Aye. And it's really weird. And then there is a counter argument, of course there is, that individual errors cost the
Yeah,
goals. Of course they do, but then individual errors cost every goal if you analyse it down or whatever
totally.
it is, right? I look at things in life, especially football, right? And again, I have one of my best friends plays professional football, talks about it all the time. Non-negotiables. Some people in the world are born with talent, can pick things up straight away. Other people have to work unbelievably hard to have the talent that they have. But all of them have the same thing in common, which is you have to do the non-negotiables. You have to do the non-negotiables are run, press, give everybody energy, like be fully committed, get involved. Like they're the non-negotiables. You've got to do that. You've got to do the selfish yards. And I said that yesterday. Only player in our team yesterday that could look at themselves in the mirror and say they did the selfless yards was Gino. And by selfless yards, I mean go press the right back 5 yards further by their byline, knowing that when you get there, they're going to pass it inside the field to Carter Vickers, and you're going to have to sprint all the way back to press him, and then he's going to put it back to Johnson, and you're going to have to go press him again. That's the selfish yards, because if you don't do that, they get to walk up the pitch 10, 20, 30 yards, and now they're in your half, etc., etc. We didn't do that at all yesterday. That's coaching, right? That's coaching. So individual errors you can take out, but that aggression, the non-negotiables, that is a coaching thing, and that is what really is the biggest disappointment for all this, because we don't look well coached when it comes to those areas.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't even know what that comes down to, because, like, as you say, we talked about like the crowd and how about having a bit of heart. And one of the biggest cheers yesterday was Keogh smashing one of their players,
Aye.
and it was like, surely that energy with the crowd getting behind you for getting in and putting a foot in a challenge would build the rest of them to do the same, but no reaction.
It's again, it's they're scared. That's what it is. As simple as it's no courage, no having the balls to do something. You see it all the time, right? So Celtic play in the half turn. You watch Celtic all over the park yesterday. Wherever they can take a touch and face our goal, they do it
Yeah,
every single time. The way their body position is, the way they move, the way they run around, so they have that half yard of space so that their first touch takes them going forward. They're like that in every position on the park. You now mirror that with Kingsley taking his touch, Smith taking his touch. Every single time their touch takes them back towards Clark, Sibbick, Rowells, where we're likely to make a mistake because they aggressively press us in that area. And our game plan, which fucking infuriated 11 daylights out of me, was to suck them in and then go long. That's what Gino was up there for. Was they were supposed to bring Hispanovic, Jota, and Kyogo onto the 18-yard box, play it a couple of passes in the 18-yard box, get them to connect and engage with you, give it to Kingsley, give it to Smith, and then hit it long and
yeah.
get Gino in behind, because that's what they were trying to do. That's what that midfield was all about, was to bypass that because Snodgrass wasn't there. And we'd never done it once because we don't pass it quick enough, we don't press quick enough, we're not aggressive enough, we're not brave enough on the ball, and we could not cope with Celtic's press.
Spot on. Don't even have anything to add to that. You showed that you did see it in the second half. It started to work, but that was because they were 2-0 up. Their performance dropped a wee bit.
Hey, they're
There's nothing more.
managing the game now.
Yeah,
They've done their job. It's finished.
but it just there was no plan B though, and that's what you say about the tinkering
Aye.
and the like for like subs. The game was calling out for another attacker to come on because you could see Gino was rightfully so blown a wee bit
Aye.
because he'd been running off 60 minutes, but you were like, bring on a Forrest, a Cool, just to hang off Gino, because Mackay might not as well know have been there yesterday as well, but that's a different conversation totally. But somebody to actually link up with Gino, and it just didn't happen, and we didn't see that change.
It doesn't. And again, you look at Barry Mackay wasn't good yesterday, right? He wasn't, and you all know my thoughts on Barry Mackay, right? I've told everybody until I'm blue in the face. I think Barry Mackay is an unbelievably good football player. He just doesn't show it anywhere near enough. Now, I had to put on Twitter yesterday to say that you feel almost like you're held hostage by him, because
Yeah,
when he is good, he's worth keeping on, because he could do nothing for 8 to 9 minutes, and on the 90th minute do something unbelievable, and you win the game.
yeah.
And that's, you kind of sign up to that when you sign players like Barry Mackay. That's why he's at Hearts. But
Rudy Scatcher was exactly the same, but I know that like you can't make that comparison. But
let's never put them in the same
I,
bracket again.
well,
But I understand.
you know what
I
I mean.
understand what you mean, mate. I understand what you mean. But if he doesn't do that, if he doesn't do that wee moment of magic, then he's done nothing for 90 minutes. No,
Yeah.
nothing, because obviously he runs about, he tries and all that sort of stuff. He doesn't hide,
Does he?
but he doesn't. Well, he definitely runs about. But if he doesn't do that wee bit of magic, then you think, why have we persisted with that? Why? I've said it for the start. Alan Forrest, right? You were to line up all the Hearts players right now, 99% of the Hearts fans would keep Barry McCann and get rid of Alan Forrest.
Yeah.
Alan Forrest has more assists, more goals, looks more dangerous. Now, Barry Mackay plays every week. You're telling me that Alan Forrest, if he was playing it every single week, wouldn't he turn into Gino, or couldn't he find some form or whatever if he was getting a chance? Like that's what
Yeah.
bugs me. That's what
Yeah.
bugs me with that sort of stuff. But
And
again,
surely, if you're a player off Barry Mackay's quality, if you get dropped for a period of time, you're going to be coming back in with a bit more fight than what you're seeing at the moment.
Barry Mackay for me as well, he's hampered by the thing with the formation that we're playing. It doesn't suit Barry Mackay. It doesn't. It's not the
Playing in the
type of,
centre doesn't suit him at all. Like
no,
whatever he
it
was doing
doesn't.
yesterday.
And it absolutely doesn't help him when there's no one winning the ball back and gaining it. When he
Yeah.
plays on the half turn, when he plays in the little space, he plays in those gaps. When you don't have a Devlin, a Snodgrass, or whoever winning the ball back and gaining one-touch passes and getting him into spaces where he wants to be, pointless.
Yeah.
He's not going to go win the ball back. He's not going to drag the team up the pitch. They just can't do it. And that
I
was
think you
really
even
annoying.
seen yesterday about. I think Cochrane helps him a lot because Cochrane is
100%.
constantly up there
Yep.
with him.
And that's what bugged me yesterday. That was Robbie Nielsen gets things wrong. Of course, does every manager does. That now in hindsight was wrong. Like
Yeah.
this isn't a thing with Keogh. It was nothing to do with Keogh. I think Hearts were poor right in the middle of the park. But you're looking at Hatate, McGregor, and Moy, the three best midfielders in the league by a country mile. They're outrageously good. You think, right, how do you combat them? Because you're not going to get time on the ball, right? So you're not going to take a touch, get your head up, and have a look and pick a pass. You're going to have to be able to take it, hold them off, and try and turn. That's what's going to happen. 9 times out of 10, two of them are going to be on you when you've got the ball.
Yep.
So you think, right, well, what do we do? We played 5 at the back, 3 in midfield, 2 up front, or whatever formation you want to say that it was when we're in it's 3-4-3, and then it breaks into all different things. Whatever it was, we are overrunning the midfield because we're not aggressive enough, we didn't show enough, we aren't willing to do the running enough. So McGregor and Moy would come after you, get one of them gets the ball back, the other one passes it. Hatate and Moy go and do it. Hatate and McGregor go do it. They all go press together, and that's what was bugging. I was doing my fucking head in every shot, every goal kick. Rowell's in the 6 yard box, Sibic in the 6 yard box, Smith on the 18-yard box, Hill on the 18-yard box, Keogh 20 yards out, Grant 20 yards out, whoever the fuck else played in midfield. I can't even remember now. Halliday 20 yards out. Celtic, Jota, Kyogo, Hispanovic, Moy, Hatate, McGregor, all of them 30 yards for our goal.
Yeah.
And we continuously played it out for the back and put ourselves into danger every single time because we could not handle how aggressive they pressed, and we never changed it for the full 90 minutes. That's unexcusable. That's unexcusable for Robbie. I'm sorry. That lies with him. Individual errors cost us the goals, but his formation, his tactics cost us the game.
You say 90 minutes. That fucking goal kick routine's been
It's
9
been like
months.
yeah, it has. And again, I get it. For that to work, things have to fall into place. When they only fall into place, you have to change it. You get to be able to adapt. You got to be there, or you have to get the players that aren't doing it out of team.
Yep.
You know, Hill, Sibic, Rouse, Halkett, they've all struggled to do it all season long. Do you know what I mean? So why are we continuing to do it? So it was really disappointing. Yesterday, I thought we huffed and puffed. I don't think we were completely and utterly rubbish.
Yeah, I would agree.
I thought there was bits in the first half, for example, but Celtic are a quality side for that exact reason. I've done it for 37 years, been watching Hearts, and my dad every single time will say the same thing. 5 minutes before half time, Celtic and Rangers will score. It's what they do. That's why they're masters at it. They'll score and suck the life out of everything. That's when
Yep.
you've got to be on your guard. And that's exactly what happened. We are asleep for the first minute and are fucking sleep for the second, with the last minute of the first half day, and the game's dead.
Absolutely. It was a stage of the game, like, felt like we were kind of getting back into it when you had that goal line chance where I think Hart actually made a save, where he then went down, and then there was like a wee Gino half chance where he hit on the volley, and you were like, oh, this is going a wee bit better, and then there you go, wind taken out of you.
Aye.
Which, fair
For
play
the
to him, was a fucking decent finish, to be fair to Kyogo.
it's the same type of chance we give up every single match. Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing. Aaron Moy scored the exact goal that he'd missed a minute earlier, and we didn't. Nobody tracking runners, nobody taking a bit of responsibility, nay in game. We look overcoached. I know that sounds totally mental because I've said they're not doing the non-negotiables and all that sort of stuff. But honestly, it's like we play football by numbers.
It's a static line all the time that bugs me.
We're
Like,
constant, mate.
midfield static, defence is static, but it's because they're like, oh, I need to be in this position. And overcoached, I never thought it that way, but you've summed it up pretty well there.
And Celtic will be overcoached as well. Like they'll have positions where they need to be, etc., etc. But you can't be static versus Celtic. You just can't. It's no the way that they play. You play right into their hands when you do it. And I just thought it was tactically naive. And to be honest, it was the same with Rangers at him. It was a tactical fucking shit show. I thought yesterday was a tactical shit show as well, although be it a little bit enforced with the injuries.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do we do now for the remainder of the season? Because we're away to Aberdeen on Saturday, and it feels like a must win. But we're on a bit of a shite run. You know, beaten back to back by Celtic, beat St Johnstone, lost to Rangers, lost to
Motherwell.
Motherwell. Like it always seems peaks and troughs with Hearts when it comes
Yeah.
to this sort of stuff. We went 10 unbeaten, and now we've got one win in 6 or something like that.
Yep.
Whatever it works out at. So Aberdeen.
Scares me. 5 games pre-split.
So what
5
are
points
we?
ahead.
So we're 5 points ahead of Hibs, 7 points in front of Aberdeen.
We will be Hibs 30, yeah, 7. Yeah.
Right.
And then
So
8 St Mirren, 9 Livy. And then
aye.
there's a bit of gap.
So we beat Aberdeen on Saturday. Celtic play Hibs.
Hibs, yeah.
Right. So if
It
we
is a
win
must
on
win. You're right.
we win on Saturday, we're 8 points in front of Hibs and we're 10 points in front of Aberdeen. Aberdeen have to play Rangers before the split as well, right? So you're looking at potentially that gap doesn't get any smaller by the time we go into. I think their last game before the split is against Rangers at Pittodrie or Ibrox or whatever it is. But Saturday's must win.
Yes, you're right.
We've got to win on Saturday because I think we then play St Mirren at home. Then I think we're back to back away. I think we're Kelly away, Hibs away, then Ross County at home for the split.
Aberdeen away, Kelly away, St Mirren at home, Hibs away, Ross County home.
Right,
Yeah.
so we're Aberdeen away, then Kelly away. So
Yeah.
as we might fucking insert name here when it comes to this stuff with Hearts or whatever, but we've got a terrible record at Pittodrie and we've got a fucking
An
terrible
even
record
worse
at
record.
Kilmarnock.
I know. At least we've got a good record at Easter Road. Fucking hell.
Mate, it's
Actually do in recent years. I don't know if we do.
we do. What at Easter Road? We haven't lost at Easter Road since fucking 2018.
True. Aye.
2023.
Okay. Sorry.
We have a good record at Easter
We
Road,
have a
Tam.
good.
But aye, so what realistically, how do you see it going between now and the end of the season? Do you think Hearts will wrap up third?
The positivity in me would say yes, because I know we've now got what you would consider as 3 games we should certainly win. As your Kilmarnock, St Mirren, Ross County, and then Hibs. It is what it is. You'll see. Take care of itself in a way, but you never know. So Saturday scares me though, and especially the timing of Saturday going to Pittodrie after what we've been going through just now. That could make or break us, to be honest. And then post split, you know how we are fucking post split the last couple of years. I say a couple of years. We've only had one split in the last couple of years, but aye, see how it goes. But Saturday scares me. I don't really know how it'll go. They're on a bit of a new manager surge without having a new manager, but just getting rid of the old one.
Aye, but again, you want to be a big club. You want to be the third best team. You want to do all that sort of stuff. You have to at least not get beat on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. Things that go in our favour is that the way the split is right now, we would play Hibs, Aberdeen, and either Livingston as well. I would potentially think if Livingston are they in the top 6 still?
7th, so
All right, okay. So we'd potentially will have home games versus Celtic again, Aberdeen and Hibs, and then
yeah.
we'd probably be away to Rangers, away to St Mirren.
Yeah.
So we've got some home games, which is a bit of a bonus, but still a worry for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think though, you look at the 5 games, you win the 5 games, you're pretty much wrapped up.
All right, you win the 5 games. It's done by the time we'll go to Easter Road, knowing that if we win, we've secured third.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We've kind of got this, and touchwood, the safety cushion of the fact is that we're almost guaranteed European group stage football for finish third because Falkirk, Ayr, or Cali Thistle aren't going to win the Scottish Cup. Touchwood, right?
Touchwood again.
That's not going to happen. So third is
Imagine
imperative.
one of them fucking going to Europe.
Mate, third is imperative. It has to happen. So Right, go for it. The last, give your results. How many points are we getting out of the last games before the split? Starting on by
Christ.
Aberdeen on Saturday.
1 point. Draw. Then
That's it. All right, all right.
No,
You're
no.
going game by game. I was like, all right, so
1, then 6. I can't even count, man. 11 points.
11 points.
2
Right.
draws, 3 wins.
I think we'll lose on Saturday.
Right.
I think we'll draw at Kilmarnock.
Okay.
I think we'll beat St Mirren.
Yep.
So
That's
what's
what I went
that?
for.
4.
4, yep.
4. I think we'll draw with Hibs. 5. And we'll beat Ross County. 8.
8.
There you go. I think it'll be 8.
The only difference is I had a win against Kilmarnock.
Well, I think Saturdays
no,
make or
draw on
break for me. Saturdays make or break for me. I think we could. It is on. I know it's going to fuck around, but it's so fucking negative. But I've seen this story before with Hearts, and I would love to be proved wrong or whatever it is. That look at the Motherwell away game. Motherwell were in a similar situation. Motherwell shite, hadn't won a game for ages, bottom of the league, sacked their manager, and we were fucking dog shit. Absolutely terrible. Aberdeen, 3 o'clock kick-off. They've just won, what, two in the bounce or something. Won 3-1 away for home or whatever. Had 2 weeks off to prepare for this game, known the chance to they win, they can take it to 4 points, etc., etc. Like, they're going to be
Barry
up for it.
Robson wanting the job.
Aye, they're going to be up for it. We've been scudded on Wednesday, scudded on Saturday. Players out. It's going to be a real tough job on Saturday to go up there and win. So,
And as bad as they've been good at home.
Massive pressure. Aye, massive pressure. So they need to be able to do it. We need to see a reaction for Saturday as well, because Saturday wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice and cheery. That was nice and cheery, wasn't it? You going on Saturday? You going up on the? You going the Venga bus up to Dodger? You decided yet?
No decided yet. Need to see.
I've not made up my mind
after yesterday though. Fair weather fan, am I?
Pardon me. Fuck it. I'll probably end up going anyway. Why not? It's the coldest place on planet Earth is Aberdeen, so there we go.
I've never actually done it, to be honest, as well. So
shite bag. That's because you're a Levy fan that goes to Hearts games.
I'm not even accepting that, but I just don't go beyond Central Belt, like, to be honest.
Right. I don't think there's anything else we need to depress anybody about. We've been off for a month. We've moaned a month's worth of moaning in this 100%.
Probably a wee note, but anyone that's ordered any merch should be arriving in the next week or two. And then arriving with us, and then as soon as that arrives, we'll get it posted out. So obviously it's made to order, so as soon as it's with us, we'll get it out. But that should be imminent.
Very professional. We will also have some Henry Smith t-shirts coming for everybody that's enjoyed the Zippy. We're obviously coming into summer weather, so hopefully we'll have some teasers and stuff to share pretty soon, but it should be with you this week.
Hopefully we'll get a photo of the man himself.
That's very true. I've spoken to the man himself. He's looking forward to getting his zipper. So when we get some photos of the big man, we'll share them with everybody as and when we can. Right, Tam, I will probably
Never talk to you again.
Sigh. I'm contemplating it. After we'll probably talk Sunday.
Aye, class.
All right, mate. Right, I'll see you after that.
Cheers.
Gorgaro.